Hey everybody, welcome back to the RGR Football Channel. This is Daniel Harm's film analyst, and today we have exactly that. We have one more film room for you guys as we approach the NFL draft here in close to 2 weeks. Everything is starting to come to fruition, and now we're getting more into the detailed spot, getting into more of the day twos and a little bit maybe day threes, guys, as we get in depth here. And we're talking a little bit about Sam Williams today, defensive end out of Ole Miss, one of your prototypical Spags types of defensive ends in terms of size, length lacking a little bit in terms of having those 34-inch arms, but I think 33 and an eighth is more than enough. He's, like I said, 6'4", 265, so he's like right there in terms of what they're looking for. And then he went out and ran a 4.46, getting you some nice explosion numbers. Things you want to see, get that first step. That 40 time is indicative not just a quick acceleration time for a guy his size, but also with that longer speed to generate and consistently sustain that explosion through multiple areas of his agility and his body. So all really nice metrics, a little bit lacking in some of the other explosion metrics with his broad jump and his high jump, things like that. But still, all of it's there. I think he's got a lot of the tools to become a starting level player in the NFL. The obvious caveat here is that he has some off-field concerns, some issues that are going to keep him outside of that possible end of the first, top of the second talk, and could end up dropping into a spot where Kansas City or other teams feel more comfortable at the maybe into the third, depending on how it all works out for him and how teams feel about him. So with all the background and stuff getting out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the tape so we can see what he looks like on the field. The biggest thing for me that jumped out was that I watched 3 games against Mississippi State, against Texas A&M, and against Alabama. Those 3 offensive lines have 3 of the top offensive linemen in the class against them. Evan Neal, Charles Cross, and Kenyon Green. He's an interior guy. But you'll see Sam Williams line up there from time to time. But right down here is where Sam Williams is. He plays the majority in a three down front, and that allows him to play more of, off the edge. He can come up and line up over the guard a little bit, kind of shade inside. He can pretty much play from anywhere from here on out on the defensive line, giving him a lot of versatility as well. We know Kansas City likes that in their defensive linemen. But like I said, having to see him up against guys like Charles Cross right here, for example, is it's a good thing. It's a fun thing to watch because he's one of the best pass protectors in this class, and this is his favorite move as I've seen detailing those 3 games. This is the one move that really stuck out to me, and it's a good thing to see that he favors an outside-inside move because one, with your speed to the edge, that will cause some of these offensive tackles to try to overcommit and set outside so you can then widen this B gap right here to get into. So the idea is use your speed, use your first step to create a nice gap here. And he not only pairs it with like some actual intention and speed, but some power as well. He uses that inside arm to get leverage and push the tackle away while coming back inside, you see? So it's like a one-arm bench press up. So he takes that left arm and just kind of shoves it into the shoulder pads and then moves back inside at the same time. All very fluid motion, and then he's able to get to the quarterback. Ball comes out quickly, obviously, but this is his go-to, his favorite move because he can come around and corner a bit, can bend from time to time, but we're going to get to that into the next couple of clips here. One of the big issues I do see on his tape, he moves around a lot, so he can be on either side, and like I said, from like shaded up on the guard all the way out to a wide 9 technique at times, and he plays on both sides, so that's all good stuff. But this is really where in his pass rush game is some problems. He just gets stuck, and like a lot of defensive ends, not only in this draft, but coming into the NFL, if you get stuck and you're a starter, especially as a rookie, you end up being pushed out and just getting swallowed up. And that's what happens here. Lesser talent, especially, can get inside him right here a little bit with his hand location not always being there. And then he just turns it into a wrestling match. You got to start shaking and moving and really push, pull, do something different instead of sitting there and trying to make it a wrestling match. You're not going to win a wrestling match with an NFL offensive lineman almost ever. And unfortunately, like, he's just, the pass rush plan still has some work to do. But again, seeing the fact that he has the tools, we've seen already in that first clip that he does have the ability to use multiple things at once, gives me a little bit of hope that he can develop that. But definitely more of his struggling right now in pass rush is finding that consistency with the plan and not getting stuck when one thing doesn't work, or trying to find too many things at the same time, getting in his head a little bit. He's back on the left side here. But I'll tell you what, Sam Williams is a strong guy. He doesn't, even if he doesn't have the best shoulder pad level all the time, as you see, like right here, he doesn't have the best pad level. The offensive lineman kind of beats him in terms of that pad level. He comes up a little bit too quickly, lets the offensive lineman in his chest too much. He finds a way to make it work in the run game. He's not the most consistent user of power in the run game, and can sometimes sneak inside and not set a proper edge. And this is really kind of one of those times. He's not actually setting an edge. He's just trying to square up with the offensive lineman. But he locates the football pretty decently and then throws off that offensive lineman. He does have some really nice functional strength that he shows multiple times against bigger SEC offensive linemen. Those are things that you really value in a defensive end, things that I really value. Use that strength, use that speed to power, and find ways to get off that block. Even though you got beat at that initial point of contact, find a way to make it work. He did make it work. He was able to get in on that tackle, even though it wasn't the tackle for loss, and it was a third down. This is really where another part of his game stands out to me. It goes all the way back, doesn't it? So he's on the right side here, really playing more of that wide 9 almost, so he can try to corner and use his speed. There's the get off. Right here is where the problem comes. Okay. He is like I said, he's a pretty quick guy. He's a pretty quick guy. But the problem is his balance is not consistent. And right here, he allows the offensive tackle to take his inside arm and throw it down right there. Just throws him down, and then he loses all of his balance. Completely lost it. He's gone. You're going to see it on the other clip too. But he's trying, if you're going to be a guy who can corner, you need to stick that inside arm inside the tackle's chest. Not like grab on, hold, but use that as a long arm. This one, it's almost detached, and it's tied to the rest of his balance. So he can just kind of snatch, grab it, throw him down, and he loses all of his balance and is on the ground. Another problem with this tape is he's on the ground a bit too much. Right here, he loses that contact. It's not consistent. He's not inside that chest all that much. You see the tackle here has control of that arm. He has it. And then he just snatches him down and is gone. That's one of the areas of problem with his tape. Balance. He's on the ground too much, and you have to work on that balance. A lot of that is weight distribution, having your shoulders way out in front of over your legs, and not being able to have that leg strength to keep you driving in through the tackles and the guards that you're playing against. So that's another area that he really does need to work on. Improve that leg strength to really allow you to take your long arm and use it to your most advantage, and use that leverage you have to really maximize that. You've got him up here really on the left side of the defensive line. And this is more of him flashing, not just run defense, but a little bit of pass rush move in the process too. He's able to locate that football. Again, you engage, locate, and then find a way to make the tackle. He kind of uses a reverse Hamilton. He takes the offensive tackle's left arm and just shoves it up, like right here. This is good stuff. This is the kind of pass rush tools that he's got at his disposal. But watch him. He engages, locates. Okay, so he looks outside. He says, okay, Spiller's coming inside. So you see immediately, locate that football. You know you're flashing outside as a defensive end. So typically, running back's going to try and get one of these holes. Okay, got here, but you're setting the edge outside. You flash outside leverage to make him go inside. Check number 1, Sam Williams. Comes back inside, and this is where it is. He throws the inside arm up with his right arm, and then just goes and makes a tackle. So while he's not consistently always there in the run game, and he does get washed out by guys who he shouldn't be getting washed out in the run game, he has the tools to put it together to really become a guy who can make some noise on the edge, set a hard edge, especially if he gets more of that functional strength in his lower half. He can be a fully complete 3-down player. Right now, I'm not sold on the idea of him being a 3-down player. Definitely has a lot of pass rush upside. You get him in the weight room and improve that leg strength, I think you can really have something there on first and second down as well. So now we got Sam Williams on the right side of your screen. Those are some attributes about his lower half that I do really enjoy. He's got some flexibility in his hips. He has some ankle flexion as well. Really able to close in on a quarterback and not lose him the way we've seen guys like Frank Clark lose guys not very shifty. Just saying. We got Sam Williams up at the top again. And this is for all the tools that Sam Williams has. This is, like I said, the one that he loves the most is to press that outside edge and try to come back around with a little strong arm and inside. The problem that he runs into with this consistently is hand location. So he tries to come back inside. He gets too high, arm slips off, and then he's got nowhere to go. Because you have to use that when you're going to long arm back inside. You have to use it for leverage to really help you pretty much grab and drive yourself forward. If you slip and you lose that contact, you're going to see it right there. It slips off. And granted, the tackle does a good job of getting his arm inside. But you have no leverage. You have nothing here. You're basically standing straight up. The tackle just says, okay, you want to go back inside, good luck. I got access to your chest. I'm going to kind of shove an arm in there, which is what he does. And then he almost kind of forklifts him up. So, and then he's got nowhere to go. An area of, I won't say like concern. It's just working on that hand location and constantly getting it inside the chest or on the outside of the shoulder pads to allow you to really use a leverage point. If you can get it on the outside a little bit more, he's gonna find more success getting back to the inside, using that lateral agility. And again, the leg stiffness and the leg strength to be able to jump cut, kind of like a running back does, from outside to inside, is really going to help him develop those pass rush techniques as well. So now we have Sam Williams down here on the right-hand side. And this is, like I said, more of the flashing in the run game. Not a super consistent guy in the run game, but there are tools at his disposal. I wanted to show more of the highlights because it's not necessarily a huge part of his game, being a huge run defender, but as a guy who plays 1, 2, and 3 downs at Ole Miss, you have to be able to set an edge pretty well. And again, forklifting guys and using some pop in your hands can really surprise some tackles. And if you can do that consistently at the NFL level, getting your pad level right, like this is good attacking, head in the good spot. Granted, this is poor technique from this offensive tackle. His head's down, so he's really standing up straight almost. You have Williams here leveled up properly, engaging with that inside shoulder to get him on the outside again. He's going to flash to the outside just a little bit, but he's also going to push this offensive tackle up and then get back off for the tackle. Forklift, pop in his hands can surprise. He has a lot of strength in these hands too, so he's a guy that really, gets in the way, like my dog likes to get in the way with things like that. So, but yeah, one of those guys that has a lot of tools in his tool bag, and I think that he's going to be able to maximize that at the next level with the proper coaching. Again, that's what this comes down to, in my opinion, is he's got a lot of tools that, like I said, at his disposal. You can get the right coach with him, you can really make things work to his advantage. And, oh, that was just the other. I was trying to figure out why did the color change so much. But yes, you have Sam Williams down on the right-hand side here. Again, in the run game, setting a hard edge, pop in the hands, getting him uprooted in that is very important. I almost lost the entire clip right there. But yeah, he's a fun player. I think he has a lot of upside, and one of those players that you would feel okay getting in the back end of the second round, maybe into the third round, because of his off-field issues, but the talent is up there with a Boy Mafe, with an Arnold Ebiketie. I personally think he's a bit more consistent than Ebiketie with his pass rush plan. The problem, and even as a run defender for that matter, the problem comes with the off-field stuff. Can you trust him to be on the field at all times? Can you trust him to continuously be a guy in the locker room that's going to sit back and learn and really take advantage of having a coach who knows what they're doing? And I'm hopeful that he can get all these tools that he has at his disposal figured out for the NFL, because he's a guy who has a ton of upside, a ton of real potential to be a top edge in this class. We're just going to have to not only see where he ends up, but if he's in Kansas City, he's in a position where he could get early playing time with the players that are there. And if he can be on the field with the teammates and practice and just be consistently there, he's a guy you can mold into a number one defensive end with everything that he has. Once again, those tools, getting his legs a bit stronger so he can consistently set a hard edge in the run game and then use those legs to really go outside and inside with the jump cut and the lateral agility that he has, can really round out his game completely and make him a truly dangerous player in the NFL. Not there yet. There is not one defensive end outside of the top two guys in this draft class that are like ready to step in and play day one. So always got some work to do, but I like his film. From what I saw, it's why I wanted to see him against some of the best offensive tackles and even to another extent offensive guard in this class, because it really gives you a good insight to how he's going to play at the next level against NFL competition. So I like Sam Williams. I'd be comfortable in the top end of the third round, back end of the second, depending on how depleted the defensive end group is. 64 is probably the earliest I would think about taking him, but he has like the end of the first round talent in this class, in my opinion. So make sure you guys are telling me everything you want to see about these guys. Like, who's your favorite edge player in this class that the Chiefs have a realistic shot at? Who's your favorite corner? All these stuff. I want you to just put them in the comment section. Next week, we'll have another film review. I'm not sure who it's going to be yet, but we will have one. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, the bell, and the sub notification. Helps us out. It helps you out. There's just no downside to it, really. And then tomorrow, Ryan and Seth will be back with Chief in the North. You guys have yourselves a great day. The draft is closing in on us, and I'm just excited to be able to continue to bring you guys content every single day, every single week, as we do here on the RGR Football channel. So please, once again, have yourselves a great day.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more, and subscribe to RGR Football.